you about the exhibit?
Yes, we waited out that section.
Okay, perfect.
Your Honor, before we resume, one matter that we'd like to address, we just recently learned after lunch that the proceeding, at least today, is being video recorded.
Right.
And it's our understanding that it's being recorded by the news outlet of the friend of Mr. Demers, Tom Duggan, the Valley Patriot.
Steve Duggan, is that?
It's a Valley Patriot, Tom Duggan, I believe.
Is this the gentleman who came to your house that did an interview of you?
This is a gentleman that I had a radio interview with about the home makeover years ago, and this is a gentleman that did a follow-up news story on the home makeover, and he had actually done a recent story on this case.
Okay. And so what's your objection?
His friend from high school.
Yeah.
Our objection is that we, under Superior Court Rule 204, we think that we should have been given an opportunity to address the matter before broadcasting was permitted. Our concern, and we understand the policy, public policy of the state and of the court is to permit public access to court proceedings, and absolutely respect that. Our concern is that, not that these proceedings will be published by the Valley Patriot, but that given the nature of this case and Mr. Demers' admitted conduct with respect to manipulating photographic images and statements of the parties in this case, that the proceedings today will become part of a ongoing campaign of defamation and harassment. Quite frankly, I don't want to be dressed up as a brainless fraud, and I don't want Mr. Perot to be next Thanksgiving's turkey based in today's beautiful suit. We're concerned about manipulation of the images.
I understand your concern. I suppose any one of us in this courtroom could be subject to the what Mr. Demers calls parody, and I don't know if he will have access to it. But I guess really what you're asking me to do is to enjoin a press member from being present.
That's not a request. We're not.
What are you asking?
I'm asking that the defendant be enjoined from manipulating the photographic and the depiction of what's happening here today. That's our concern. We certainly don't wish to enjoin freedom of the press for a publication of this proceeding as it is taking place, but we're concerned that the defendant will alter, manipulate, and abuse that.
Well, I don't need to hear your objection.
Okay,
if it is an objection to the press person being present, that's a whole different issue, and it sounds like there isn't any objection to that. I'm not going to issue an injunction to prevent future behavior. I'm going to rule on what is before me, and if there's an issue after my ruling, then I'll address it at that point.
You want to may I respond?
Sure.
Shortly.
But I don't really think you have to, Mr. Demers.
Okay.
I haven't ruled. I've ruled in your favor without hearing from you.
Yeah.
So at this point,
I wouldn't know. I have no intention on doing any such behavior with the press's video. It's not my intellectual property. Yeah, I wouldn't do it anyway. You know.
Okay. So are we ready to proceed?
Yes, we are.
So exhibit D.
ID D1, I believe.
Yep. Is struck, and that will come in as a full exhibit. You may have your witness read it.
Okay, Mrs. Demers. I forget if she went through that. Can she read this document? Okay. Can you just give the date and the name and address and read this?
February 26, 2007, Suzanne Demers, State Ridge Suites, Vortec Drive, Room 13, Andover, Mass. Ray insured, Hafner's Service Station, Inc. Date of accident 2/06/2007. Then the claim number is 200-53028. Dear Mrs. Demers, this letter will serve as an itemized of payments made through Acadia on behalf of Hafner's Service Station in reference to the above caption claim. To date, we have made advance payments to you in the sum of $3,449.08 and $1,835.38 for a total of $5,284.46.
That's already been introduced as Exhibit 16.
No, Your Honor, I believe that was,
Okay.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you want me to continue?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. The payment of the amount of $3,449.08 is broken down as follows: the barking dog, $81, Wignall Animal Hospital, $150, Gase House Inn Suites, there are two of them, one is for $118.42, the other is for $92.58, Staybridge Suites for 2007, $814.48, room 208, $652.60, 239, because they have to be changed, $760.20. Food and miscellaneous expense allowance for Gerald Trolisi, Suzanne Demers, in the sum of $600 at the rate of $60 a day for 10 days, between 2606 to 21507, total of $540, and $30 a day for 6 days, from 2606 to 21106 for Michael Demers, meals and miscellaneous expenses, $180. The payment in the amount of $1,835.38 is broken down as follows: Staybridge Suites, room 208, $876.82. That was from 214 to 207 to 22107. Staybridge Suites, 21407 to 22107, room 113, $958.56. An advance payment in the amount of $600 is being processed to reimburse you and Mr. Troisi for food and miscellaneous expense at the rate of $60 a day for the 10-day period, 2/15/07 through 2/25/07. Do you want me to read on?
Yes.
Oh, okay. In addition to the above net sums, we have also made the following payments to Michael Demers and Lisa Fielding. Michael Demers advance payments were made directly to Michael Demers in the amount of $270 for food and miscellaneous expenses at the rate of $30 a day for 9 days, from 2/12 to 2/20, and $210 for the period of 2/21 to 2/27/07. Lisa Fielding, my daughter, she was living with us at the time. Advance payment was made to Lisa Fielding in the amount of $1,520.42, which is broken down as follows: the Sheridan, 213/207 to 220/207 of $995.82. Salem Laundry, $44.60. Food and miscellaneous expenses, $480 at the rate of $30 a day for 16 days, from 206 to 221. A second advance is in the process of being issued to Lisa in the amount of $806.28, which is broken down as follows: Sheridan from 220 to 207, and 225 to 207 for $653.38. Salem Laundry, 218/2007, $20.90. Food reimbursement and miscellaneous expense, $150 at the rate of $30 a day for 5 days, from 2/22 to 2/26/07. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. Leo Peralt, Senior Claims Representative.
Okay, Mr. President, thank you.
Yep.
What does this document show?
For the first few weeks. That's all they paid.
Okay, and, at some point they stopped.
They stopped.
Okay. And the cleanup of the oil spill lasted 14 months.
Yes, it did.
Were you ever reimbursed for hotel bills during the time you were out of your home?
Nope.
Okay.
Were you reimbursed by your own insurance company?
I'm sorry?
Were you reimbursed by your own insurance
I
company?
had to
for
use
those?
all the money that I had from my insurance company, just to pay a hotel bill.
Including the damage money that she had received,
Okay.
yeah, that we talked about yesterday.
I just wanted to clarify the question.
Yes, yes. Okay. Okay, Mrs. Demers, we're gonna talk a little bit about after the oil spill, and, while you were living in a trailer in front of your home. You know, I have, an exhibit here in my hand, marked IDJ, and, I'd like to, approach it. Mrs. Demers, oh, I'm sorry, IDJ, yeah, Mrs. Demers, I'm gonna show you this document here and see if you can identify that document.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Can you,
Is there a second page to this?
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
okay, can you tell me the title of that document?
United States Bankruptcy Court.
Okay, and, is your name listed on the left-hand side? Is your name and address there?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Can you read the middle type for me, please? The middle of the page?
Discharge of debtor.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit what that document's about?
Connor,
I owed a lot
Have we
of money.
moved, I'm sorry, have we moved to admit it?
We have not.
Oh, I'm sorry, may
You
may
didn't
may
admit
I,
it?
make this as evidence?
Do you
Your
have an
Honor,
objection?
we were happy to stipulate that she filed for bankruptcy.
And I don't think that's in dispute.
Okay, all right, then, you know, I thought it was an issue, so, okay.
So the parties stipulate that in what year she
I think it was March 26, 2014 that she filed, or was discharged from court. Bankruptcy. You know what, I have in my hand an exhibit marked IDF, if I may show them.
You have to show it to her first.
So Rose, can you read this, take a look at that document, and read the title of that document, and,
It's the Town of Salem Tax Collector Property Tax Bill.
okay, can you authenticate that there is a true document from your, the Salem tax
Yes, it
collector?
is. Yes, it is.
You wanna, may I?
Let me find out if there's an objection.
No objection.
Okay,
So exhibit F will be introduced as a full exhibit.
okay. I want you to look down on that document, or may I?
Yes.
This document here is a Town of Salem tax collector's document, Salem, New Hampshire, property tax bill, which lists, you know, the tax, it lists a lot of information, and including in this information,
I'm gonna object misleading.
Well, he's actually reading from the document that's just been introduced. Why don't you give it to me and I'll take a look at it?
could you read that? I'm looking at the assessment of that document, what her house is worth now.
And is this, no, this is not, this is your copy of this, right?
Yeah, it could be. I'm just trying to establish the assessment of the value of her property, the town assesses of that. Her house itself.
So land value 136.3, building value 52.4, is that what you want me to do?
Yes, 52, yeah, that's
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Your Honor, I have my hand, exhibit mark IDH. I approach.
Okay.
Mrs. Demers, can you identify this document? Whose name is on that and?
The zoning board, Chairman Azarian, and the town, and members of the town of Salem zoning board adjustment.
Okay, can you, that look like an authentic document to you, or
It
is
is.
that, you might wanna go through the pages and see if that's correct and accurate?
So do you have an objection or a comment?
We will object to this as without a proper foundation, but I'll wait until she responds. I thought there was a question pending.
Is your
Yes.
name and address on that?
Yes, it is.
Is the town of Salem's name
Town
and
of
address on
Salem,
that?
yes,
Does that look like
33
accurate?
Geronci Drive, yes, Salem, New Hampshire, it is.
Does that look like accurate?
It's accurate.
Yes.
Sorry that I interrupted. I didn't hear if she was reading from the document. I
She
heard-
said her name and address were on the document, as was the ZBA for Salem, and that's the extent of it.
Okay, good.
May I introduce this?
I'll hear the objections.
Okay.
You have an objection, go ahead.
We will object. This appears to be a letter that was not drafted by Mrs. Demers, and it is unsigned, and therefore there isn't a proper foundation. It's not authenticated.
Your Honor, this was a letter that sent the email to the ZBA, and I wrote the letter on my mother's behalf because she was in no condition to write. Okay, that's fine, I just wanted, then I just establish that, you know, for the record that there was a letter sent in to the town.
You can tell
Okay,
testify
that's
to
fine.
that.
That's fine. Your Honor, I have my hand in exhibit marked IDO. May I approach over here? Okay. Mrs. Demers, was this, oil spill and, cleanup, documented in any news periodicals?
Yes,
Okay, was there were there many articles
Yes,
written
there-
about
yes,
this,
yes, there
oil
was.
spill and?
Yes, there was.
Did you take a look through these and see if you recognize any articles that are, yeah, take your time, because there's a lot of them.
Yes.
And you wanna look at the titles, so see
Yes.
if you recognize any of those.
I certainly do.
Hang on just a minute. Are you objecting to this document, these documents?
They don't appear to be the actual copies of the media articles. If we could just know a little bit more information about how this.
I just would talk to counsel and explain the exhibitory, would you take it?
Okay. Excuse me, a minute. No, these are copied and pasted from online, from articles that were relating to this, and, in order to get it in an orderly fashion and number them, so there were so many of them, I ended up copying and pasting the actual articles, from when they were printed.
We saw some typos, and so we were concerned about whether they were the
No,
actual
the only typo is on the third page, where instead of, aligning to the left, it accidentally centered it, because I put the number for the page, I tried to number them so it'd be easiar for the court to read. So when I put that one on there inadvertently, it made them all center. So one is just on
Your
this.
mom had no part in creating this, right?
No, no,
Okay,
no.
so this isn't the proper witness to talk with
Oh,
about this.
I'm sorry, she was mentioned in it, in some of these articles is what I'm saying. I wanted to see if she recalled what her statements were and what she talked about in some of these articles. So I was gonna ask her if she recognized any of these articles and if she had made a certain statement in these articles. It's up to you.
Well, you can ask a question,
Okay.
but I think that to the extent you're offering that exhibit is when I'm telling you the whole exhibit can't come in from her. But you can ask her what she said to the press, and if there's an objection, I'll move on.
Okay, that's fine.
She can't read from the document. She has to do it from her memory.
Oh, she can't read from it? I'll just ask her, she's probably not gonna remember. I wanna just ask her, for instance, if this is her photo, I could do that? Okay. Rose, I'm just gonna fan through some of these articles here, and, may I ask her if she recalls articles in here?
Go ahead and ask the question, and if there's an
Oh,
objection, I'll
okay.
move on it. I'm
All right.
sorry.
Okay, Mr. Demers, do you recall the first article that was printed in Eagle Tribune on
Yes, I do.
February?
objection on the.
Yes, I do.
All right, Matt, go ahead, and what's the basis of your objection?
Oh, the basis was the bleeding that he was.
I'm sorry,
describing in the
I'm
article.
gonna try to get this straight here.
Go ahead and ask your next question.
So you recognize this first news article?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you recognize who's in that picture?
Yes, I do.
Do you see what he's doing?
Yes, I do.
What is he doing?
He's checking, he's in the hole, he's in the,
I'm gonna object
and you're
on the
taking
grounds
pictures,
of-
you're
it's not in-
photographing it,
Right,
videotaping.
hang on, Mr. Demers. I'm not sure what the picture is. My understanding is she was gonna show her a picture and see if she could identify herself.
All right, all
It's
right.
a photograph, it's
Okay, I'm sorry.
introduced into evidence, it's just like a document, you can't have somebody describe what's in the photograph unless you
Because it's
lay
not in evidence. Okay.
a foundation for it that comes into evidence,
Okay.
it's sustained.
All right, do you recall, recognize that news article? May I read it in, the article? No,
You may.
okay. I don't want you to read the whole thing, but if you recognize it,
Yes,
you do recognize the second?
yes,
Second
yes,
article?
yes, I do.
Okay. And she can do that.
You can read from a document that is not introduced into evidence.
Okay, do you recognize this third article? We'll just try to get through this.
Yes, I remember very well.
Okay. Do you recognize this fourth article?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you recognize this one? This next article, the fifth article or the sixth?
Yes, we had discussions, yep.
Okay. Okay, do you recognize this sixth article?
Yep, I sure do. What a mess.
Okay. Do you recognize the seventh article?
Yep, I do.
Okay. Recognize this eighth article?
Yes, I do. Give them keys to the Mopo. Mopo. Yep.
I didn't hear it. So, Mr. Demers, can I ask you what the point of this is? The
I'm
fact
just-
that she
yeah.
recognizes these articles, I know you want to introduce them, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure what difference it makes.
Okay, I'm gonna
here
skip
or
along
there.
to the ones that pertain directly to her, there's only about two, and then we'll move on. Okay. Okay, you remember this particular article?
Yes, I do. That was me, wasn't off a picture.
Okay. That's it, you are on this. Okay, Your Honor, I think I'm finished with this witness here.
Okay.
Mrs. Demers, I'm Margaret Minister.
I'm hardly hearing you, I'm sorry.
Would you like me to come up further, or how about I just
Much better.
use this?
Sorry.
I'm Margaret Minister. We haven't met except yesterday, and I represent Acadia Insurance Company and Mr. Perot. Mrs. Demers, were you here yesterday for the testimony of your son, Mr. Demers?
Was I here yesterday? Yes.
And you heard him testify, your son?
Come closer to the mic, please.
Did you hear your son, Mr. Demers, testify yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Do you recall him testifying that you had received roughly $200,000 from your homeowner's insurance company, MMG?
I personally received checks to pay my hotel.
And do you know how much money in all you received?
Altogether,
Yes.
whatever my insurance was at that time. It was over 200,000 though, I know it was.
So over $200,000 you received from your homeowner's insurance company?
Right.
Did you ever use any of that money toward repairs of your home?
Nope,
And did you use that money to pay off credit cards?
I had to use my credit card to pay the hotel, and when I got a check, that paid the hotel. I paid my credit card off.
And you were in a hotel for 26 to 28 months, is that
Yes.
right?
I believe so.
And you testified earlier, I believe, that the oil spill cleanup took about 14 months, is that right?
The cleanup was 14.
And do you agree that you had been told that you could move back into your home at that time?
Many times.
Yes. Did I hear you correctly that you first spoke with Mr. Perot on February 7?
Yes,
That was the day after the oil spill?
telephone.
And was it in that conversation that you testified he said you had a covered loss?
Yes, I had a covered loss.
But you understand that Acadia is not your insurance company, correct?
Of course.
So, so do you have an understanding of whom Acadia insures?
Do I have an understanding
Who
of,
does Acadia Insurance Company insure?
they insured Hafner's, any liability that Hafner's had done.
And you testified in the negligence trial, is that right?
I testified in a trial, yes.
Did you speak with Mr. Perot 10 days after the oil spill?
10 days after,
Yes.
I spoke to him again when he came to the house.
And when was that?
Roughly, maybe 3 or 4 weeks later. 3 weeks later, because it's the 7th, beginning of March. I think it was beginning of March. Yeah.
So how many times do you believe you spoke with Mr. Perot after the oil spill?
We spoke on the phone several times. He came to the house once. That's when he went into my home, went into the living room, because I had Frank, he's the Ace Upholstery, had come in prior to his coming. He came in that very day, and I asked him, what do you think? I want an expert opinion. If it can be taken care of, that's one thing. As far as like, I mean, if it just needs to be cleaned, that'd be one thing. But I want an honest opinion. I don't want to mess up with anybody, but I paid a lot of money for my furniture. He came and he looked at it, because all my mattresses had to be thrown out, because foam, it takes in the smell. You can't get rid of it. So he gave me.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I sort of lost track of my question, which I think was about
What he did when he came. He came and looked at my furniture. And he asked me,
Okay, hang on. I think the question was, how many times did you have a communication with Mr. Perot? So why don't you let her ask another
Okay.
question?
communication,
how many times
only
did,
once at the house.
once at the house and then 2 or 3?
Several
or more?
times, yes, on the phone.
Mrs. Demers, you filed for bankruptcy in 2013, is that right?
I filed for bankruptcy, yes.
Had you ever filed for bankruptcy
No.
previously?
No. I used all the funds I had. I was afraid I was gonna lose my house.
Have you ever been married?
Yes.
To whom?
With whom?
Yes.
Mr. Wilk.
Anybody else?
No,
Not Mr. Treasy?
no, no. He's a tenant. Or a boarder.
Is it your testimony today that your home value has decreased to $55,000?
Yes, it has.
54.2
Right,
Yes.
for the house itself.
for the house
Yes.
itself? But you agree that the house and land is worth more than that?
The land is worth more than that, yes.
Do you have an understanding of all told what it's worth?
Excuse me?
Do you know how much the land and the home are worth together?
Well, if the house is, according to the taxes, is 52, the land, I believe, is 136.
It's exhibit F. will you please take a look at Exhibit F if you have it in front of you? If not, I can provide a copy.
No, I don't have anything in front of me. Would it be in here?
No.
May I approach?
Yeah. It's pretty sad.
And that's a tax document from the town of Salem, is that
Right.
right? And it states that the home value plus the land is how much?
188.70, 700, yeah.
And what's the date on that document?
12/1/2016.
Would you say your home value plus the land has decreased since that time or increased?
It decreased since 2007 tremendously, yes.
I'm asking since 2013.
Has it decreased?
Yes.
No, not since my last, I don't, off the top of my head,
I don't know.
I'm not sure, I don't think so. It's still in the 50s for the house.
But that's not a claim that you're making.
No, I'm not. Cause taxes go up.
When you first met with Mr. Perot, where were you?
At home,
Which
in
part
my
of-
kitchen.
And did you have any conversations with him after that?
On the phone,
When was that?
from the house, a couple of days later, because I wanted to know what, he had made a decision. He said he would consider something. He had to go see, Frank down the street, which was, the upholstery place, and, he would come to a decision. I called him 2 days later to find out what was going on, what had happened, you know, what had he decided on. And that's when he gave me his answer. That he was not gonna be coerced into doing anything he did not want to do.
Do you recall giving deposition testimony in the negligence trial in 2010?
Say that again?
Do you recall giving testimony under oath at a deposition? That's a meeting with the opposing counsel and your own attorney.
Yes.
As a result of the claims you brought against Acadia?
Objection, Your Honor. I haven't seen this document she's referring to.
Why don't you show
Sure.
Mr. Demers what you're gonna ask about?
You have a copy for me? Thank you.
May I approach you? Mrs. Demers, I've handed you a copy of a transcript of what is called the deposition of Suzanne Demers.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the page, first page, it provides the date May 11, 2011. Do you see that?
On the first page?
Yes.
Yep.
Do you recall providing a deposition on that day in the negligence action that you brought against Acadia?
Yeah, yes.
And do you recall being sworn in and taking an oath to tell the truth?
Yes.
Will you please turn to page 168?
68?
Yes, 168. And the page numbers are
In the right-hand corner.
in the upper right-hand corner, but there are 4 pages each. Oh, yeah, right-hand corner. Okay, well, we'll get there. Are you on page 168?
168?
Yes.
I thought it was 68, I'm sorry.
No one's fault. It's hard to hear in these rooms.
Yeah?
Beginning at line 21, I'm not going to ask you specifically to read this out loud, but were you testifying about a discussion you had with Mr. Perot? And it continues on to page 169.
161?
169. It continues on to 169.
Well, then it was 10 days. You know, you gotta remember, it was 11 years ago.
I'm sorry. What is it that you're saying
When
about 10
did you
days?
speak to him? It says about 10 days approximately. So 2007, 10 days, 17, and it was in the 20s, yeah.
Okay. And the testimony you provided today was simply that it was 3 weeks or 4 weeks, right?
I'm sorry?
The testimony you just provided today was that you met with Mr. Perot 3 weeks or 4 weeks after the oil spill, right?
Approximately.
Okay.
It was approximate.
Okay. And your testimony today was that you had follow-up conversations with Mr. Perot, correct?
By telephone.
Let me direct your attention to page 170, line 12.
170. Okay.
I'm going to read you the question and the answer and let me know if I've read that correctly. Did you have any further conversations with him? Question. Answer. No.
Okay. Our conversations were on speaker phone.
I'm sorry.
And our conversations were on, Mr. Troisi and I were both, it was on speakerphone. So he was talking, but I was there. I heard conversations.
So when you testified earlier that you had further conversations with
I've
Mr.
heard
Perot,
conversations, yes.
Wait till she finishes.
they were not your conversations, they were Mr. Troisi's?
No,
Is
but
that your
there, I
testimony?
did call him as well. I've called him as well. Exactly what days? I couldn't tell you what days. It's been too long ago, but I wanted to know what was going on.
So is it possible that, because it's been so long, you don't remember precisely what it was that took place in those calls?
It was conversations about what was going on. We wanted to get back into the house.
And is it
Those are the
possible,
conversations we had.
is it possible that when you testified earlier that you quoted Mr. Perot precisely?
Oh,
You
absolutely.
might not have.
I certainly
so
did.
You remember
I will
that.
never forget that.
Wait,
Never.
wait.
I'm sorry. I will never forget his answer.
Mrs. Demers,
I'm sorry.
we just need to wait till she finishes her question and then you may answer. Go ahead and ask the question again, please.
But as you testify here today, you recall precisely what Mr. Perot said verbatim 11 years
Yes,
ago.
I do. Precisely.
And in 2011, also under oath, you testified that you had no further conversations with Mr. Perot.
Did I have what?
No further conversations with Mr. Perot after your meeting with him.
After the kitchen thing?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
I have no further questions.
May I be?
Okay, you have to stick to what was asked on cross-examination, okay?
She just, opposing counsel just asked you, if you had any conversations after the meeting. And I believe you testified earlier that you had a phone conversation after the meeting, about the upholstery
Right, I
and
was
the
upset.
tiles. That was it testified to, so I just wanted to correct that. And opposing counsel asked you about, the hotel bills and the cost, what amount that you got from MMG, and, the credit card debt that was involved with that. I just want to be clear that you went into debt because of the hotel bills not being initially paid?
Yes.
Objection leading.
Okay.
Sustained.
Why did you go into credit card debt?
There was no money. I couldn't afford it anymore.
Okay.
We ran out of money.
Okay. After they stopped paying, you weren't reimbursed, correct?
Yep.
For the
Yes,
for the
yes.
14 months,
Mhm.
right? Okay.
Objection leading, Your Honor. Sorry, it's a little late.
That's, I'll allow it. Go ahead.
The recollection of the conversations, you could have been off a few days because it's such a long time ago,
Mhm. Yes.
Objection leading.
or, I'm
Okay.
sorry, Your Honor.
That's okay. Why don't you ask it? If you start out a question with why, where, what, or who,
Okay,
you generally not transgress the rules.
okay.
So, okay?
So why do you believe you went into credit card debt?
Yes, I did.
No, why do you believe that you went into credit card debt?
Because of the mounting hotel bills.
Okay. Do you believe that Acadia should have continued paying your hotel bills?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because it was unlivable.
And they stopped after you got sick?
Absolutely.
Objection, Your Honor. Leading and it's been litigated
It's
already.
sustained.
Okay, I'm sorry. That would, I believe, that would be it for now.
Okay. I just want to be clear about something. This is
Okay.
Demers. You went to the hotel
Yes.
and you stayed there for 25 months.
Yeah.
And then after you left the hotel, where did you go?
We found a trailer.
Okay, and then you stayed in your trailer
Yes.
till after the litigation, the
Yes.
original lawsuit was final?
Absolutely.
And then you did some repair work to your home and
Yeah.
then you moved into
We
your
were
home?
forced by the town to take the trailer off, so we had no choice.
But you moved back?
We had nothing. Fortunate, okay,
That's good, thank you.
yes.
All right, anything else?
That would be it, I believe, Your Honor.
Okay, good. All right, thank you, Mrs.
Huh?
You're all set to go back, thank you.
Do they have to still call a witness, or is that
They have completed their,
Oh,
right?
I believe,
Oh, you have it. Oh, we have to have the cross-examination of Mr. Pearl, but do you have another witness after that? No.
yes, we have 10 minutes.
Okay. What would you like to do? You wanna do your 10-minute witness or go back to Mr. Pearl?
What would you like to do? Should we finish?
He's gonna be longer than I
He
suspect
is,
to
shall
have.
we, why don't we go ahead and put Mr.
Smith?
Right.
Is that his
We're going
name?
to put,
Yes.
Okay.
Plaintiffs call Dan Swift to the stand.
Yes, I'm sorry. You get this now?
Raise your right hand. You swear that any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Go ahead and have a seat, please, and state your name and then spell your last name for the record.
Okay.
My name is Dan Swift, D-A-N-S-W-I-F-T,
Good afternoon, Mr. Swift. Where do you work?
Acadia Insurance Company.
And how long have you worked at Acadia?
About 14 years.
What is your title there?
Vice President and General Counsel.
And as the general counsel and vice president, what responsibilities do you have?
I manage the legal department and provide legal advice and counsel to various departments within the company.
At some point, did you become involved in the issues that have been raised here today and yesterday?
Yes.
And how did you come to become involved in those?
I think it was originally brought to my attention by both Jennifer Town, who testified yesterday in our marketing department, as well as a person who fulfills a similar role at our parent company.
What specifically did you learn at that initial introduction to this matter?
That there was a boycott going on, and there was various posts on different social media websites and the internet.
Was the boycott a concern?
No, not really.
What about the social media posts?
Yes.
What did you know about them at that time?
Not a lot. It developed over time. Originally, it's the first I'd heard about this claim, frankly, so I wanted to get the history, what was behind all of this and the previous litigation. And then, so we essentially just monitored them for a while.
And to be clear, we're talking about the social media posting by Mr. Demers, the defendant in this case.
Yes.
And by the claim, you're referring to the Hafner's claim involving the oil spill at Mrs. Demers' home.
Yes.
What did Acadia do in reaction to the social media posts by Mr. Demers?
Initially, it was mostly just monitoring the situation to see what was being said and how often and where.
And at some point, did Acadia's response change?
Yeah, ultimately it did. We started, I think first came upon this, I'm going from memory, the latter part of 2013, and it went on for a couple of years. And I got increasingly more concerned with the passage of time, given the persistency, the nature of the posts, the personalization and personal attacks on Leo, our employee, what I believe were inaccurate and untrue statements being published, both about Acadia and our employee Leo, as well as our owners of our company. And given the persistency, the frequency, and the nature of the communications that were being published, and that they were increasing over time, and certain statements like make it right or it'll get ugly, and some of the statements made in the emails that were sent to Mr. Berkeley, all of that in totality raised our concerns to the point that we felt like we needed to initiate this lawsuit.
And what sort of impact have the social media posts by Mr. Demers had at Acadia?
Well, again, because of the frequency and the time periods involved, it's taken up, admittedly, a lot of resources to monitor the situation, and just to continuously see what was going on, to see whether or not we needed to change our tactics and respond in some way or take any other action. So it's been internally, I would say, a diversion of resources to have to deal with this versus other matters. Externally, it's hard to quantify, but as I think Mrs. Town said yesterday, in this day and age, if you want to know anything about a company or a person, most people tend to just turn to the internet and social media to get information. So a big concern for us externally, both as a company and as a professional, your reputation is a key asset. And we got more and more concerned that people that aren't otherwise familiar with our company or with Leo personally would get information from Mr. Demers' sites and base their opinions about our company and Leo on that information, which I believe is inaccurate and demeaning and just not true.
And were there any steps taken internally to educate employees about the situation?
Yes, it was known throughout the company. I had people come to me, our marketing department had people come to them on several occasions, wanting to know if we knew what was going on and what we were doing about it. And initially our response was we were aware of it, we were monitoring the situation, but at that point, before initiating the lawsuit, we felt like any kind of public response directly to the statements would only escalate things and wouldn't make things better. We weren't anticipating that any direct communication we had would change the direction of the postings.
Was the boycott against Acadia by Mr. Demers a reason for bringing this lawsuit?
Absolutely not.
Is that something that Acadia seeks to stop, shut down?
No.
What about Mr. Demers' campaign to raise funds for his mother's home?
We have no interest in stopping that at all.
So why bring the lawsuit against Mr. Demers?
Our lawsuit, I believe, was targeted specifically at statements that we believe are defamatory in nature, or humiliating, or violations of privacy, which in our opinion are not protected by the First Amendment.
I have nothing further. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Mr. Demers?
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Swift, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay, just can you bear with me for a moment, please?
Sure.
Okay, you were talking about some, what do we have here? The versions of resources to, what did you mean by that? The versions of resources to do what about this?
Yeah, let me clarify that. So, as I mentioned before, and this is just one example of that, Mrs. Town, who testified yesterday, her job is marketing, and part of that is monitoring social media. Whenever she comes across items of concern, she brings it to my attention, and we look at the information and we discuss it internally, along with other members of senior staff.
Okay.
So in that regard, the more postings that are out there on this issue require more internal focus on that versus other things.
Okay. If I recall Mrs. Town's testimony yesterday, she had said during the months, I believe, of August last year, the defendant had posted 500 tweets.
I believe she said that.
Do you believe that to be true? Because I have yet to, discuss that matter. Do you believe that 500 tweets in a week's time that the defendant made? I'm asking you. And do you have evidence of 500 separate, different tweets?
Objection, compound.
Okay, do you have, you believe that the defendant during a 1 week period made 500 tweets as she,
Stop.
okay.
I don't have any reason to believe that Ms. Town testified inaccurately. I think she testified to her true belief.
Okay, but you don't have any evidence, you've never seen evidence of 500 tweets from the defendant?
Object as to relevance and beyond the scope of direct.
Overruled.
I don't recall an exact number, but I have been given reports on the frequency of postings over time that have been a large number. I can't tell you a specific number.
So that would be considered like hearsay, you've heard, overheard?
No, I was given reports from our software that tracks these
Okay,
things.
so you've seen a written report with information that Mr. Demers posted 500 tweets in 1 week period?
Objection, estimates.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to be clear, there were different tweets, I don't know if it was asked and answered or not, were they different, 500 different tweets, meaning different?
So he testified he could not testify to the number 500, but that he had reports showing a lot of tweets.
Okay.
That's what was asked and answered,
Okay, thank
the
you.
number 500.
Okay. And I recall in Mrs. Town's testimony yesterday, when she had said that Mrs. Demers made, I don't know, this, made it sound like Mr. Demers was making numerous posts about Mr. Peralt. And then I questioned her again about it, and she said it was only, I said it would be fair to say 2 or 3 or 3 or 4, and she agreed in her testimony yesterday as far as I could recall.
Mr. Demers, her testimony will stand as it was, and I heard it.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry.
If you wanna ask this witness a question about what he may know, and you may do that, but
Oh,
I don't
I'm
need
sorry.
you to have him reiterate what I've already heard.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Your Honor. How many posts have you seen related to posts about Mr. Peralta online now?
I don't recall an exact number. I mean, they're all in the exhibits.
Yeah, I'm talking about within that 1 week period that Mrs. Town talked about in August, I believe it was.
I can't recall looking at tweets on any given day.
Okay.
It was a lot over a long time period.
Okay, okay, you said you monitored, my tweets and my posts for a 2-year period?
I did not personally, no, that was primarily our marketing department and our parent company's marketing department that monitors social media.
Okay,
I meant our company, not me personally.
okay. Okay, you didn't make any, I don't know, has Acadia spent any extra money on security, any type of, I thought I read something that they had been spending extra money, for security for their building or something to that effect? Because of this campaign or because of these posts?
We've recently updated some security in our building, but not because of this matter.
Okay, I thought it was because of this. Has Acadia ever done anything to to build up their reputation, or to sometimes a reputation builder, or if there's some issues with a reputation in a company, has he hired any other company to help make their company stand out more online, or to, in essence, sort of like build up their company and put them up in the rankings? Like, there are companies out there that do that.
I'm gonna object, it's outside the scope of direct
Okay.
existing.
Okay. Okay, that ought to do it. That would be fine. That would be it.
Okay. Anything on redirect?
Nothing further, thank you. Thank you,
All right,
Mr.
you're all set. All right, it's 4:45, we have 15 minutes left. We're clearly not gonna finish this case in 2 days. So we can spend the last 15 minutes if you want with Mr. Perot, or we can break and come back and start fresh.
If you don't mind, I'd like to start fresh, if that would be fine.
I just wonder how much longer Mr. Demers thinks he has with Mr. Perot.
Yeah, that's a good question. How much do you need to?
I would estimate a couple hours, and then a couple I wanted to run through some videos with my, when I tell my side of the story, so I wanna go through a lot of videos on the website, just to, quickly, not.
What does that have to do with Mr. Perot?
Mr. Perot, I think I'm gonna show some videos too, just a couple quick, maybe, in,
Why would you do that through Mr. Perot?
well, I was gonna question him about certain dates of the cleanup, and ask him a couple questions about that, and possibly show some short video clips relating to that. I was gonna possibly bring up the website page itself and ask him a few questions about certain statements on the website itself and different section of the website. And some of the videos, some of the YouTube videos I may wanna, that we didn't get to see the full length of, or portions of them, I'd like to maybe run through them.
I guess I'm not quite sure why you would do that through Mr. Perot. I understand you want me to look at some of the things on your website.
Okay.
And assuming it comes in, I'm happy to do that, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure what Mr. Perot can add to what you've created.
Okay.
He had nothing to do with it.
Yes. And then, I may be wrong about the 2 hours, it might be an hour though, it might be 40 minutes, you know what I mean? I would prefer to start fresh if I could, if you didn't mind.
Well, it's probably certainly premature, but it was sounding like Mr. Demers was intending to do cross-examination well beyond the scope of the direct examination.
No, like I said, I may have misquoted, I think maybe an hour, it might be under an hour, but I would be better prepared and will operate a little bit smoothly. And I'm gonna be brief, and then I'm gonna run through my version of my defense a little bit more thorough, and I don't think it's gonna take too long, it's not gonna take a full day.
Definitely not gonna take a full
No.
day, Mr. Demers.
No.
So I'm gonna have the clerk come up, see if we can find another day for you to come back. Yeah, have my, is Acadia and Mr. Perot's view that those portions of the videos that were shown to me and the tweets and all that you specifically identified are the only ones that you say are defamatory, or were those intended as examples?
Those are the only ones we consider to be defamatory in our exhibits. Now, we didn't cover every single one. We might have covered a poster, but Mr. Demers may then have posted it on several different social media sites. So to be clear, we'd like to get an order that's broad enough to cover any sort of future republication of that in any medium, even though we might have only presented it to you in Facebook.
But to the extent that there may be other statements, whatever form or place, that you didn't specifically identify from some site, those are not statements that you would claim would be defamatory.
That is correct. And we've provided 3 appendices to our order that specifically list what we're talking about.
Okay, so, Mr. Demers, we're gonna come back and we're gonna have, I'm gonna have them set aside another day.
Okay.
But that's it.
Yeah, no, I understand, I'd like to wrap it up then,
Yep.
too.
So when you come back, I
Mhm.
want you to be prepared to be more targeted in
Yes.
what you want to see.
Exactly.
I know you've made the claim that these statements that have been identified by Acadia have to be looked at in context, but I don't wanna see every single thing that
Exactly.
you've posted on
I
your
agree.
website. We'll be here for a long
Yes,
time.
I agree.
But to the extent you believe those particular statements that they're relying on are
Yes.
out of context, I will see the whole context.
Okay.
I don't wanna see everything
No,
that's
and I
not
understand.
related to what they are claiming is defamatory, okay?
Agreed, I appreciate, yeah.
Okay, so I will have my clerk come up and see if we can find you another date.
Thank you.